Welcome to Inside Markets, local voices, global insight from GMS Podcasts. I am Jamie Dalzell, head of GMS Singapore Office. In this episode, we're focusing on Japan, a market known for its steady approach, long-term relationships, and careful fleet planning. But there's movement under the surface. The Hong Kong Convention is now in force, IHM compliance is up the priority list, and market shifts could soon bring more Japanese vessels to recycling. To help us understand what's happening on the ground, I'm joined by Amit Malhotra, head of our Japan office. He's been speaking with owners about their response to the new rules, what ships could be next in line for recycling, and how GMS is working alongside Japanese owners to find the right solutions. Welcome, Amit, to GMS Podcasts.
Hi, thank you very much for the opportunity.
It's been about 6 weeks since the Hong Kong Convention took effect. From your conversations with Japanese owners, what's been the mood? Are they making big changes to recycling plans, or is the main focus right now on IHM preparation and compliance?
Majority of the Japanese owners sell the vessels for further trading at vessel age around 5, 10, or 15 years old, and very low volume for selling as a recycling. So there were no significant reactions or concerns about selling their vessels for recycling. But their primary interest is on preparing and maintaining IHM for their own vessels, which is one of the obligations that ship owners has under HKC. Although the owners have 5 years of grace period, they are interested to know who can prepare the IHM, what is the cost involved, when should it be prepared, it's going to affect the sales of their further trading vessels if the vessel doesn't have IHM, those kind of things. That's where our sustainable ship and offshore recycling program, SSORP, comes into the picture. SSORP provides various green recycling services like monitoring and reporting of the recycling process, consultation for the recycling yards to comply with HKC, providing IHM. SSORP was recently appointed by Japanese owners to provide IHM for their recycling vessel.
PIMCO has suggested that around 16,000 vessels could be recycled over the next decade. With some yards in the Indian subcontinent temporarily out of the market while they work on HKC compliance, do you see any risk of capacity shortages if volumes pick up? Or is the industry likely to balance itself out as more yards get certified?
Enforcement of HKC temporarily reduced the number of the yards in Indian subcontinent. If significant numbers of the vessels come for recycling in current situations, there might be shortage of the yards occurs. But I think it is unlikely to happen as shipping market is still not in recessions and no sign of it at the moment. Number of the yards will gradually increase, especially in Bangladesh market, as many of the yards is under process of getting certification for HKC comply. Also, the number 16,000 is expected maximum volume based on the age of the vessels, and also the small vessels are included. I personally believe no need for the owners to panic about yard space availability. But recycling volume will increase in some certain stages and may cause tightness to availability of the yard capacity. So the owner should be keep in touch with the cash buyers to gather information and plan carefully for when and where they should recycle their vessels.
Now that HKC is in force, what are the key things ship owners need to have in place before they even think about sending a vessel for recycling, especially if their ships are under HKC ratified flags? Can you walk us through the main certificates and documents they'll need?
As practical work under HKC had head start before enforcement, and most of the owners are aware of IHM requirements and selection of compliant yards. New and important requirements after the enforcement is that if the vessels is under flag of HKC ratified countries, the owners needs to apply and obtain IRRC, which stands for International Ready for Recycling Certificate. Procedures, procedures and requirements can be different for each flag state, but basically owners needs to apply the certificates by submitting documents such as IHM, ship recycling plan, ship recycling facility plan, authorization to conduct ship recycling, and other documents if required. For request recycling sales and procedures, we are always available to assist and guide the owners for smooth and safe transaction.
Recycling volumes from Japan have been low for the past few years, but you've said that might change towards the end of this year or early next. Which vessel types are you keeping an eye on, and how are factors like PCC trade patterns, LNG market trends, and upcoming new build delivery shaping the recycling outlook?
Last 2-3 years, volume of the vessels for recycling was low worldwide. And same for Japanese market. Very limited tonnage came for recycling. In fact, only 3 vessels from Japanese owners have come for recycling this year. The last one was wood chip carriers sold in June. But starting to hear about some recycling candidates inquiries from Japanese owners, so the volume might increase starting Q4, end of this year or early next year. Usually, main recycling candidates from Japanese owners are PCC and wood chip carriers, which tends to have long TC period, and after the TC expired, they're going to sell for recycling. But PCC market has been very good for last several years, and still lots of vintage PCC is trading on the waters. But due to US tariffs, the trade pattern might change for PCC market and possibility for some of the old tonnage coming for recycling. Also, some of the new building PCC deliveries are upcoming, and also that's also pushes PCC to come for recycling, especially the old ones. LNG is another sector which is falling and might be coming for recycling as well. LNG recycling started to increase from end last year, started with steam turbine membrane type LNGs, but nowadays we're also seeing some of the most types and different types of LNGs coming for recycling. Currently, the recycling market price is around $440, $450 level for bulkers, which is much lower than what we're seeing last year or earlier this year, but still not the bad numbers if we compare it with the historical average, which is around $400, $410. We are expecting more tonnages coming for recycling, and oversupply may cause some falls in recycling market prices.
GMS has worked with many Japanese owners over the years. You've mentioned before that we don't just buy ships for recycling, we help structure deals that work for both the market and the owner. Can you share an example of how we've done that and the kind of flexibility we can offer?
Objective is to provide solutions for the owners on vintage assets. We are not just a buyer for their recycling vessels, but partner that can provide custom-made deals to maximize value of their old assets. One of the example we had with Japanese owners is that we bought the vessels from Japanese owner and BBC back the vessels to them. And after redelivery from the owners, we take responsible for ship recycling of the vessel. With this scheme, the owners can cash out their old assets, but still can enjoy the income of the vessels in current upside market. Also, ownership has changed, so the older responsibility and preparation for recycling is under the compliance of HKC is on buyers. We would like to hear about issues and concerns in owners' fleet management so that we can come solution providers and partners using our experience and worldwide knowledge to handle mid-age to vintage-age vessels.
Okay, that wraps up our look at the Japanese market. We've heard how owners are approaching Hong Kong convention compliance, why IHM preparation is moving up their priority list, and which vessel types could lead the next wave of recycling in the months ahead. Amit, thank you for sharing your insights and giving us a view from the ground in Japan. This has been Inside the Markets from GMS Podcasts. We'll be back soon with updates from our offices around the world, keeping you connected to the latest trends and opportunities in ship recycling. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.